I, male 36, have been with my girlfriend 32 for 2 years. I have 2 boys from my previous relationship. Their mom isn't in the picture. I work full-time and my girlfriend used to stay home and take care of everything else. I still help out here and there, yet she would complain about the kids causing constant messes, not receiving proper discipline, and accidents like breaking a vase, and the list goes on. She complained that she's more of a parent than I am, which is not true since I provide an income, yet she decided she wanted to go back to work and started looking. She found a potential job and her interview was today. I called to remind her to pick up the kids from school since she's responsible for it, but she said she was about to start her interview and told me to go get them. I was stunned. I told her I couldn't because I was at work. She said I could take a break, but I refused because this would have affected my job. I asked if she'd take 10 minutes to quickly go pick them up, but she refused. We ended up getting into an argument, and me telling her she should have figured something out beforehand. She blew up, saying that I'm the parent and that she was tired of being at my beck and call all the time. The kids ended up being picked up by my friend 40 minutes later, which made them upset. At home, I got into a huge argument with my girlfriend, calling her selfish for doing this to the kids and ditching them like that. She said that she had an important interview and that I, as the parent, could have figured something out instead of expecting her to drop what she was doing and pick the kids up. She called me an idiot and then went to stay with her mom. Am I the idiot? She complained that she's more of a parent than I am, which is not true since I provide an income. Yep, you are the idiot. I rolled my eyes so hard I had to stop to make sure they weren't stuck that way after reading your BS. She's selfish for getting a job. Ha ha ha. Oh, then of course she's an idiot. LOL, apparently her current nanny job isn't working out for her. Maybe OP should take his parenting skills, aka money, and pay someone to pick up his kids. How much are we betting that he voiced that opinion aloud to the girlfriend and that's what prompted her search for a job because she's obviously not going to be taken seriously in that house until she gets one? How was he parenting the kids before she was in the picture? Also, 2 years into a relationship and she's expected to play mom. That's rather fast and I don't think that would have been a healthy transition for the kids. As the child of a father whose presence during childhood was effectively just that of a glorified wallet, I feel for those kids. Does anyone else think she's getting a job so she can be financially independent to escape him? She is 100% right. I find it funny that OP was stunned that he had to parent his own kids. Good on the girlfriend for getting a job and seemingly moving out, if only temporarily. OP sounds like he was using his girlfriend to provide long-term free childcare while he was free to do as he pleased. I also wouldn't be shocked if he was trying to ruin her interview so that she would remain dependent on him and continue taking care of his kids. Wow, you are the idiot, OP, and no wonder she's getting a job. She's getting a job because she is done. You've messed this one up. She's not the parent. You are. Your babysitter is heading for the exit. I, male 27, have been with my girlfriend Wendy, 25, for 6 months now. Next year we'll be travelling to meet my extended family. A little bit of background, my parents are from France and they moved to the US before I was born. I never learned French because I found it boring, and then as an adult I found it difficult. Languages are just not my thing, but I know that they come easier to other people. Wendy already speaks Spanish fluently even though no one in her family does, and now she's learning Korean. So I asked her to start learning French before she met my family, and she refused. I said that languages are easy for her and she should do it, so my family likes her. She told me to learn it myself and she's not doing it. And I've called her an idiot, told her she knows how difficult learning languages is for me and it wouldn't be a problem for her. She said no, that she didn't have the time. I said that she had the time to learn Spanish to watch telenovelas and that she had the time to learn Korean to watch K-dramas, so she definitely should have the time to learn French to speak to my family. If she can do it for such silly reasons, she should certainly be able to do it for something so important. She told me to learn it myself and called me an idiot. She ignored me for a few days and we met yesterday. I started the topic again, hoping she cooled down, and she refused again. I was mad. I told her she didn't respect my family or me and asked if she expected to be part of my family when she refused to speak our language. She wasn't happy and told me to buzz off. I'm trying to understand what's going on and I'm wondering if I was, in fact, an idiot. Perhaps I should have been more understanding and given her time to realize she had to learn French. Am I the idiot? Edit. I don't expect her to become fluent in a few months. I want her to at least start learning so she can know the basics. Our language? Our language? Dude, you can't learn the language your parents speak in 27 years, but you call her the idiot for not doing it in a couple of months? Learning languages can be hard, sure, but you've had your entire life. You are the idiot. Buddy, you may want to see if there's a market for nerve because you've got a lot to spare. You've chosen twice not to learn your parents' native tongue. Once as a child because it was boring, and once as an adult because it was difficult. And yet you feel entitled to demand of your fiancée that she do what you choose not to do and claim it's a lack of respect on her part? You have got to be kidding. She's not your personal translator, and you can't very well convince her it matters to your parents that she be able to speak to them in French when you couldn't be bothered to learn. Either quit making excuses and put in the work yourself, or just carry on as you've always done, but don't expect her to do what you're not willing to do yourself. But give her time to realize she had to learn French. Oh man, you don't speak the language yourself, so don't pretend it actually matters to you. You have no right to expect her to put in this effort. You're the disrespectful one. You are entitled and, quite frankly, don't seem mature enough to be in a relationship. Honestly, you are a walking red flag. Hope she realizes it soon. My brother is a pathological liar. He has been almost as long as I can remember. It started when he was 7 years old. I've been on the other end of his lies more than once. I was 2 years older, so I was always supposed to forgive once I get an apology from him, which was always forced by our parents. Some of the lies in childhood I was subjected to, that I cheated on one long-term girlfriend and slept with her best friend, that I had stolen my best friend's dad's family ring. It was stolen for real, but not by me. That I had permitted him to use my locker in school, which our high school didn't allow. That I went out with friends when I was home in my room. The lie that made me cut him out of my life happened when we were 20 and 22. I just moved in with my then long-term girlfriend. She and I had been together for almost 3 years at that point. My brother then told her that I had fathered a child with one of my ex-girlfriends and that I had abandoned my child so I could get girls easier. Unfortunately, she believed him enough that even when she realized she was wrong, the relationship was broken beyond repair. I told my brother after this that I never wanted to see him again, that he was dead to me and I hoped his life would fall apart one day because of all his sick lies. His response was we were family and I couldn't disown him forever. I told him family is the people you love, and how could I love someone like him? It's been 15 years since that went down. I married my wonderful wife, we have 4 amazing children, and I haven't seen my brother since. I also have a strained relationship with my parents because I blame them for not taking care of the problem sooner. So this is what I know, but I don't really care, so some details could be wrong. My brother was married. He lied a lot to his wife and her parents. His wife was sort of aware of what he was like, but her parents were not. He and his wife had children together and they lived in a house owned by the wife's parents. His wife died suddenly, and some of my brother's lies were exposed. His wife's parents didn't want him in their house and kicked him out. They also kept his wife's stuff and denied him everything but the clothes he and the kids owned and toys. They offered to raise his children, but he refused. Then he lost his job because of lies. My parents took him and the kids in. Now they want us to make up and they want me to help him out. I told him he got what he deserved and now he's facing the consequences of his actions and that I'll never ever help him. I told them he was not my family, his kids were not my family, and I am nothing to do with this. They asked how I could turn my back on innocent children. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Your parents turned their backs on a child by enabling your brother to grow up the way he did. I know there are cases where parents can do everything right and the child still grows up into an idiot, but in this case, they clearly allowed OP's brother to grow up into a little monster. They also turned their backs on you by trying to force forgiveness. They have some nerve to cry to you about the consequences now. Agree 100%. I truly feel bad for the brothers' kids, but as for the brothers and parents, they're reaping what they sow. If there was a way to just help the kids, maybe do that. If the brother had changed somewhat, maybe him too, but he hasn't, and bringing the brother back is just tossing a bomb into your own family. I have a friend whose brother is like this. It never ends. He will run up massive credit card bills and never pay them off, register them at his mother's and his sister's addresses, so the bailiffs turn up there. He even stole all the money from his grandparents' bank account and disappeared for a few years. I wonder why any of his family still speaks to him. He's nearly 50 years old and still a complete waste of space. OP, your brother sounds potentially dangerous. You saw this years ago. He's not your responsibility. They chose to have him, but you did not. He is their problem. I feel bad for those kids, I really do. But nothing you can do will help them because their father comes attached to them, and he will sabotage even the best of attempts. No matter what you do, your help will not reach those children. Hold your ground. I, male 36, have a daughter, tween. 2 weeks ago, she got diagnosed with leukemia. All. I'm a single dad. My wife passed away when our daughter was a baby. My mother-in-law, 60, lives 3 hours away but comes to visit pretty often. My mother-in-law always wanted a girly daughter. My wife wasn't into traditionally girly things. Neither is my daughter. That doesn't stop mother-in-law from buying her dresses and other things she will never use. About 5 days ago, daughter asked if she could maybe dye her hair since it'll fall out soon anyway. I figured, why not? I talked to a friend who works at a salon. Now my daughter has super cool blue hair. She had the biggest smile when she saw her new cool hair. Mother-in-law came to visit yesterday. She freaked out once she saw my daughter's hair. She was saying her daughter had such beautiful blonde hair and now it's ugly. My daughter became teary-eyed. Chemo has already been emotionally exhausting. She didn't need her grandma making comments like that. I made mother-in-law go in the hallway. We were at the hospital. I told her that it was so wrong to call daughter ugly. She started saying, well, it is ugly. I cut her off and said, just leave then if you aren't going to say anything nice. Well, she left, and I hugged my daughter and told her she was beautiful. I later got text from my brother-in-law asking me why I made my mother-in-law leave. I explained the situation, and brother-in-law said it was still an idiot move not to let mother-in-law see daughter when she's sick and that I probably shouldn't let my tween have dyed hair anyway. So, am I the idiot? Absolutely not the idiot. Your kid comes first before anyone else's feelings. It made your daughter feel better about herself when she was not feeling well. If your in-laws want to keep agreeing with your mother-in-law, then they can go skydiving without a parachute. Hope your daughter feels better. My God, if your in-laws are going to try to sap away any tiny amount of joy that child can still feel, then they better stay far, far away from her. I don't want them breathing in her direction. They have a choice here. Be nice or go the heck away. Ask your mother-in-law how she would feel if she got a new hairdo that she loved and you told her she looked ugly. If it's rude to say it to a grown-up, it's rude to say it to a child. I'm guessing your daughter doesn't want to see her grandma right now either. If and when she wants to see her again, you should talk with grandma firmly about what is appropriate to say to someone else. Seeing people is not a given right, and commenting on other people's looks is a safe way to get cut off. Bet your daughter is rocking that blue though. I, 43 female, have 2 teenage daughters, Molly, teen, and Ella, young teen. My daughter Molly is very athletic and is at a regular healthy weight. My daughter Ella, on the other hand, is quite overweight, not so much that it stops her from living life, but enough that we were encouraged to help her lose weight by her physician at her last appointment, which we have been helping her to do. Recently, Ella has been very jealous of Molly because her sister doesn't need to go on the same diets. She's been treating Molly unfairly and calling her all sorts of names like skeleton and complaining that we're punishing her for having a different metabolism, when Ella has always had a very unhealthy diet, whereas Molly tends to eat very healthily. We've been punishing her for her treatment towards Molly by taking her phone and Xbox, but she always does it again, even after we give them back. Today, this is when it hit its worst point. Molly has grown since last winter and so she needs new jumpers, which we were going to buy on the weekend. But during the week, when looking in Ella's closet, I noticed some of the clothes she'd put to the side to be donated, as they didn't fit and looked like they may fit Molly, including one of the jumpers. I washed the jumper and asked Molly if she would be okay with wearing the jumper to stay warm until the weekend. She said yes, and that she would prefer it to her old ones as they weren't big enough to cover her completely in the winter. However, when Ella got in, she completely lost it and I returned to her arguing with her sister. When I came in, Ella grabbed the jumper, trying to pull it off her sister. I broke it up and asked Molly to go upstairs so I could try and talk to her sister and figure out what was wrong. She said it was because Molly was wearing her jumper. I asked if she wanted to keep the jumper and Ella said no, she wanted to throw it away because it wasn't comfortable anymore, but that she didn't want her sister to have it. I said okay, but her sister would still wear it for a few days until the weekend to keep warm. She then got very angry and said we wanted to make her insecure and that Molly doesn't deserve new jumpers. I explained that Molly would keep the jumper and she went to her room, refusing to talk to me. This morning, Molly called me to her room. There was fabric all over the floor where Ella had cut the jumper up. I grounded Ella and told her that I'd had enough of her jealousy, to which she called me an idiot, in ruder terms. I've been thinking, and I wonder, am I the idiot? Edit, Ella has been in counselling for some time. Not the idiot. Ella is going through a crisis. She needs to see a different therapist because she's taking out her insecurities on her sister, which is unacceptable behaviour. Punishing her is not going to work. She needs more professional help. Also, finding Ella an activity that she enjoys too, that's active, might be a really good idea. But the clothing thing is ridiculous. There's no reason for Molly to go cold when there are clothes that fit her. Disagree. In the emotional sense, it's probably embarrassing for Ella to see her hand-me-downs go to Molly because it's a very visceral reminder that she's the larger sister. It's a one-to-one body comparison. Even though it's certainly practical for Molly to wear the sweater as a stopgap until she gets a new one, there's no way Ella is viewing this in a practical sense. Clothing was in her closet. You are the idiot for taking your daughter's clothing without her permission, and you do sound like you don't have a lot of sympathy for Ella. Agreed. OP, you didn't think at all about how it would feel for Ella to see her older, more conventionally attractive sister in something that no longer fits her, and when she tried to tell you, you brushed her off and dug in your heels. Could you not have loaned Molly a sweater for the weekend when it meant a lot to Ella not to have to see her sister in this sweater? Ella sounds like she's genuinely in emotional distress, and you are making it worse.